The desert sun pressed down on us like a living weight, the kind of heat that baked the ground until it cracked and shimmered. My team had been digging for weeks in the ruins of what was thought to be just another forgotten settlement, another sun-bleached pile of stone swallowed by sand. Most of the others had lost interest, fragments of pottery, broken walls, nothing extraordinary. But I had a feeling, the kind of stubborn instinct that drives archaeologists to keep digging long after the funding runs dry. That's when my shovel struck something it should never have found. It rang, sharp and metallic, the sound so alien against the grit of stone and soil that the entire dig site froze. I brushed the sand away with trembling hands, revealing a surface smooth as glass yet cool, even in the desert heat. Symbols etched into its skin began to catch the fading light of the sun. They weren't like anything I had seen before. Not hieroglyphs, not cuneiform, not runes, older, deeper. Spirals within spirals, stars stitched together by lines like constellations. As the others crowded around, a hum rose from beneath the earth, subtle but undeniable, as though the artifact was not dead matter but something alive, waiting. My chest tightened. I didn't just see the symbols, I understood them. Not perfectly, but in fragments, like half-forgotten memories stirring awake. That night, when exhaustion finally forced me to sleep, I dreamed of things no human should have seen. Cities that glittered brighter than any empire of stone, beings that moved like shadows of light, vast and terrible and beautiful. One of them stopped and looked directly at me, as if piercing time itself, and whispered words that shattered my world. You were never alone. You were never the first. The days that followed felt like living inside a waking dream. The artifact had become more than an object, it was a presence, a constant pulse at the edge of my mind. My colleagues tried to dismiss it at first, calling it stress, dehydration, or the power of suggestion. But then the dreams began to spread. One by one, every person who had touched or even stood near the relic began to see them, visions of towering figures, of fire gifted to primitive humans, of hands not our own guiding us through the first stumbling steps of civilization. Fear took root quickly. Some of the team left in the middle of the night, abandoning their equipment, unwilling to spend another moment near the thing. The few who stayed avoided looking at it for long, muttering prayers or curses under their breath. But I couldn't leave. I felt chained to it, as though my life's work had always been leading me here. The carvings revealed themselves in fragments, as if they wanted to be understood only by someone willing to endure the unraveling of their own certainty. And what they told me was impossible. Aliens, not gods, had come to Earth in its earliest days. They had walked among our ancestors, not as rulers but as instructors, planting ideas, guiding hands, pushing evolution forward when nature would have taken millennia longer. And yet the story wasn't clean. There were gaps, deliberate omissions that suggested secrets too dangerous to be carved in stone. The words repeated again and again, surfacing like a chant I couldn't ignore. The seed must awaken. At first, I thought it was symbolic, some poetic flourish from another age. But the way the words thrummed in my chest told me otherwise. It was not metaphor. It was a warning. I should have buried it again. Every instinct screamed at me to cover the artifact with sand, to pretend I had never seen it. But curiosity is a cruel master, and mine refused to let go. The moment I pressed my palm against its surface, the carvings lit with a blinding glow, lines of energy racing across it like veins of liquid fire. Something deep inside it stirred, something that had been waiting for this exact moment. The activation did not go unnoticed. Within 24 hours, strange aircraft circled above our camp. Satellites adjusted their orbits. Men in unmarked uniforms appeared at the edge of the desert, their presence explained with rehearsed lies about surveying and environmental studies. But I could see it in their eyes, they already knew what I had found. Humanity's most powerful governments had been waiting for this day, guarding scraps of knowledge they had stolen from earlier discoveries. I was brought into a tent and questioned for hours by officials whose accents betrayed every continent. They wanted to know what I had seen, what I had unlocked, what I *new star. But none of them expected the artifact to answer on its own. That night, it pulsed so brightly it lit the ruins like a second moon. The hum became a roar, vibrating through the earth, and then, silence. Except it wasn't silence. A signal had gone out, invisible but unmistakable, stretching across the void of space. And then something came back. It wasn't random static. It wasn't noise. It was a voice. Cold, vast, and heavy with recognition. "Seedlings," it said, in a language I shouldn't have understood but somehow did. "You survived. Prepare for harvest." The world changed in 3 days. First came the fire in the sky, our streaks of light tearing across the heavens as if the stars themselves were falling. People filmed it on their phones, thinking it was a meteor shower, until the lights stopped, hung suspended, and revealed themselves as ships. Not metal ships, not rockets or shuttles, but vast living things, their surfaces shifting like dark water, their silhouettes blotting out the constellations. They filled the sky with silence so complete it made the air feel heavy. Then came the voices. Every device, phones, radios, televisions, crackled alive at once. The same message in every language, every corner of the globe, *, we gave you fire. We gave you civilization. Now, you will give us what was promised. The word sank into my bones, the cadence identical to the voice that had spoken through the artifact. Governments moved quickly, or at least tried to. Fighter jets scrambled. Naval fleets repositioned. Missiles were armed, soldiers deployed. But fear spread faster than orders. Streets filled with riots and prayer circles, with people clinging to old myths or inventing new ones. Half the world saw gods returning, the other half saw executioners. For me, there was only one thought, one question that burned hotter than the panic: if they had built us, shaped us, taught us, then what did they build into us? I returned to the artifact, desperate for answers. When I touched it, a flood of images struck me like lightning, humans not bowing before their so-called gods, but fighting them, striking them down with weapons grown from their own hands. The visions ended with the architects retreating, not victorious, but wary. And in that instant, I understood. We weren't their children. We weren't their servants. We were their experiment. And perhaps, their mistake. The changes began so subtly that at first I thought I was imagining them. My hand stopped trembling after long days without rest. My vision sharpened, colors blooming brighter, edges crisper. I could hear whispers carried on the desert wind from hundreds of feet away. And when I lifted a supply crate that normally took 2 men to move, I realized something inside me had awakened. Others felt it too, those who had lingered near the artifact, those who had let its light touch them. Some grew faster, stronger, more aware. Others broke under the strain, their minds fracturing from the flood of instincts they couldn't control. It wasn't random. It was activation, as deliberate as a switch being thrown. The carvings told the truth I had dreaded: humanity wasn't a natural species. We weren't the result of chance or divine blessing. We had been engineered, each generation carrying a dormant code hidden in our blood, waiting for the right signal. That signal had come. And the more I studied the visions, the clearer the pattern became. We weren't designed to worship. We weren't designed to serve. We had been created as a weapon. A weapon the architects once needed against an enemy I could not yet see. But what chilled me most was the fear I felt through the artifact whenever the architects appeared in my mind. For all their vastness and power, they seemed wary of us. As if they had buried a seed too dangerous to let grow. I looked at my own hands, veins pulsing faintly with light when I clenched my fists, and the truth solidified: we were never meant to be their children. We were built to surpass them. And now, with their ships above our skies, they had come not to guide us, but to cage us. The first battle was chaos, a collision between desperation and inevitability. It began over the Atlantic, where the largest concentration of the architect ships hung like black suns above the horizon. Humanity threw everything we had at them: fighter jets, missile barrages, naval fleets bristling with guns. It was like throwing stones at a storm. Their defenses shimmered like liquid shields, swallowing warheads whole, reducing squadrons of aircraft to falling embers in the sky. I watched the feeds in horror, certain that we had no chance. But then something impossible happened. A single architect vessel faltered, its shield flickering. The reason wasn't our weapons, it was the survivors. Men and women who had been awakened by contact with artifacts or exposure to their energy fought back with abilities they barely understood. Reflexes faster than bullets, strength that ripped through steel, instincts that told them exactly where to strike. They weren't soldiers before. They were ordinary people. Yet they moved like predators who had trained for this all their lives. One of them, a woman from Madrid whose name the world would never forget, boarded the faltering ship after her own aircraft was destroyed. Witnesses swore she tore through its living hull with her bare hands, dragging something vital out of it before the vessel collapsed into the sea. For the first time, an architect ship fell. The effect was immediate. The invaders hesitated. Their advance slowed, their formation tightened. Through the artifact, I felt something I had never expected from them: fear. It wasn't our weapons they feared. It wasn't our technology. It was ****. Their grand experiment, their carefully designed weapon, was no longer dormant. Humanity was waking, faster and fiercer than they had planned for. And the architects realized too late what they had unleashed. I sit among the ruins of the battlefield, the smell of salt and smoke still thick in the air. The Atlantic churns with the wreckage of war, shattered steel, burning fuel, fragments of alien flesh drifting like blackened kelp. Humanity has never seen devastation on this scale, and yet, we are still here. We endured the first strike. We fought back. And for the first time, we made the architects bleed. I can feel the change spreading, not just in me, but in thousands across the world. People awakening every day, farmers, students, engineers, each discovering gifts that defy reason. Some call it evolution, others call it destiny, but I know the truth. This is the seed they buried in us millennia ago, rising at last. The very weapon they tried to keep hidden is blooming in their absence of control. Governments scramble to contain it, but there's no way to cage what's happening. Borders mean nothing when the enemy hangs above all our skies. Old rivalries crumble as soldiers fight side by side with former enemies, united by something far older than politics: survival. For the first time in history, humanity isn't fighting itself, we're fighting together. And the architects? They're not finished. Their fleet still darkens our skies. Their voices still reach out, promising annihilation if we resist. But underneath their threats, I can sense their unease. We were never supposed to awaken like this. We were meant to kneel, not to rise. Now I understand what HFY truly means. Humanity was never a mistake. We were the hidden blade, the weapon no one expected. And as I stare at the horizon where another wave of their ships emerges, I whisper the words I know will define us. We are not prey. We are the storm. And we are coming for them.